7 pitch. Harper hits one in the air, left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life. It is bedlam at the bank. Swung on, hit, crushed, and the Phillies are going to lead it 4-0. Now Harper sends one in the air, way back to right center. That one's gone. This place explodes. It's good. Right center field. Lightning strikes. Right field. Sakara's out. Castellanos on. And the Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly, Ben Goldstein, and the NLCS is officially 1 day away. Woo! Ben, coming up, Arizona Diamondbacks, Philadelphia Phillies, hopefully a lot of partying in the Phillies clubhouse after, you're saying game 5, right? You're saying 5 games and we're done?
This thing's over in 5. I'm waving the towel.
Over in 5. You are hearing it from the horse's mouth, folks.
It's over in 5.
Over in 5. All right. We can audibly breathe out. The NLDS is over.
Whew.
We recap that on episode 40.
The Braves are done.
Brought
officially.
to you by SeatGeek,
Yes.
the most efficient and the most costly, least costly way to purchase your tickets for concerts, all sporting events, including postseason baseball.
I have 2
at the
tickets.
bank.
I have 2 tickets up on SeatGeek right now for NLCS in LCS Game 1. So go buy those tickets. I'm not telling you exactly where they are. You can sit next to me. Somewhere in left field. 2 tickets.
Somewhere in left field, you can
2
get
tickets. You can sit right next to Ben Goldstein.
That's an honor right there.
Yeah, you might get into the video. You know, it's very exciting stuff.
Ooh, a guest appearance.
Yeah. But
That
yeah,
would be very
SeatGeek,
exciting.
you just go to Philly Sports Support, SeatGeek.
Hold that S, Ben. Hold that S. You don't
Hold
want
the
the
S. Save $20. It's a good deal.
I think the hold the S is becoming our version of Ricky Vitalico's lock her up.
Oh! Anyway,
There, unfortunately.
although we don't support Yingling, we support Fandemic Brew.
That's correct. We do.
It's behind section 204 for the postseason. Go get your Fandemic Brew. Free
Indeed.
shout out to the Fandemic crew. Anyway, let's talk about the NLCS, Colin.
Can't believe we're here, man.
I can.
Rob Thompson is the second manager to reach an NLCS in his first 2 seasons holding the reins.
Who was the first?
Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. It's Mike Matheny, 2012-2013.
Okay.
Of the Redbirds. I saw that posted by somebody this afternoon.
Was it tweeted or was it posted?
I'm gonna go with tweeted, Ben. It was
There
tweeted. you go.
Thank you.
It's tweeted. I have not officially made the conversion to
X.
to X.
Yeah.
X. Very intimidating, don't you think? X.
No, it's us.
What are the thoughts on X? Like Twitter is just so like it's nice and blue and it's like a little chirpy bird, and now it's like post on X. I don't know.
Repost this quote.
Sounds
quote
like
this post.
It sounds like emo's Twitter. We're 2 minutes into this pod and we're so off the rails.
It's 9:00. All right. Baseball.
Emo's Twitter. All right. Well, I wonder if maybe we can get some emo Diamondbacks fans to listen to this podcast, because we're going to break down the Diamondbacks roster right now, pick out their highs, their lows, their emos. I'm hitting it with the rhymes right now, aren't I?
Yeah. Went for a long pod.
We really are. So Mike Petrillo, a self-proclaimed bouncer of a journalist. I don't know if it's self-proclaimed. He definitely has, but according to his Twitter bio, very, very experienced, did a breakdown of each position between the Phillies and Diamondbacks on MLB.com. Ben and I are going to give our initial reactions to reading this right now. So it starts off at catcher, which is probably one of the most controversial ones, because Gabby Moreno's had a good season.
Yeah.
And JT Realmuto's like, JT Realmuto. and they're giving advantage D-backs, Ben. I mean,
Well,
I'm not gonna lie.
let me read Mr. What's this guy's name? Mike Petrillo. Shout out to you. MLB.com sponsor us. Let's read off his reasoning. He gives off JT's Rubito stats, everything, and then he goes, against most catchers that would be more than good enough, but in Gabriel Marino, the D-backs catcher, the D-backs have a catcher who is even better at throwing out base stealers. Okay. And his outstanding second half hitting, he had a slash line of 313, 383, 511. Led into a postseason that's featured 3 homers so far. Marino isn't anywhere near the star that Ramito is. At least not yet, but so long as the hand that he got banged up in game 3 is healthy, he might just have a larger impact on this series. All right, so he has a banged up hand. I'm not sure what hand it is. I'm just reading this for the first time. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little puzzling, that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, he's been good. 3 homers in the postseason, a great second half, but he has never played a postseason game against the good team. Like they played the. All right, let's start off here right now. The Diamondbacks played the Brewers and the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks are yet to lose in the postseason. They're 5-0. The Dodgers' 2 stars, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, went a combined 1 for 30 something, and that one hit was an infield single. The Brewers had multiple leads in the games and just blew all of them, and the Diamondbacks came back and won those games. More on the Brewers pitching than the Diamondbacks hitting, in my opinion. So the Diamondbacks have not gone against a real competitive team in a real home field advantage, like Citizens Bank Park. Colin's not happy I'm going off on the crowd again. But
no, it's not what it is.
What is it?
You can't call the Dodgers unserious, man. They're perennially good, experienced in the postseason. They have veteran players all around, a very, very passionate fan base, and they were an 100-win team.
You could be in a 100-win team, but when you have Clayton Kershaw going out there and giving up, 6 runs in the first inning in game 1?
It means that there's a really, really good offense because Clayton Kershaw is 30-some-odd number of years of age and is still one of the best pitchers in baseball.
What are his postseason stats? Disagree with that. Clayton Kershaw has never been good in the postseason. And yes, they played very well against the Dodgers, but the Dodgers stars also flat out did not produce. So I think that series is more on the Dodgers losing that series than the Diamondbacks winning that series. Yes, the Diamondbacks still won the series and are in the National League Championship Series, but they've played good ball, but the teams they're playing against are just flat out playing bad ball.
I don't disagree, but I mean, the Diamondbacks hit 4 straight home runs in the first inning against the Dodgers off of Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn can't keep the ball in the ballpark to save his life. So
they were like destroying baseballs. That doesn't happen on accident or because of one bad pitcher. We've seen teams face bad pitchers. I mean, think about every single team that Vince Velasquez struck out 16 of their guys.
Well, Velasquez is the greatest pitcher in baseball history.
Okay, moving on.
But the teams, I just dropped my fidget. The teams that the Diamondbacks have played who had very good regular seasons did not play well in the postseason, which definitely assisted to the Diamondbacks getting in the position that they are. Meanwhile, I would say the Phillies are currently the hottest team in baseball. As they have played, they destroyed the Miami Marlins. Like, those were 2 dominations of a game, and then they hit the Braves very well. They really dominated their stars. And then the Braves' best inning, which is the first inning, they didn't allow a single run to them. They only allowed 3 home runs in the series against a team that hit over 300. And the Diamondbacks are also a good first inning team, so the Phillies have to limit them in the first inning. But anyway, back to the catcher. I still think JT Realmuto will have a greater impact than Marino. And saying that Marino has a better arm than JT is is um is an interesting comment.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm buying that one yet. And I'm not the biggest JT Realmuto guy on earth, and I'm very pessimistic, but I don't necessarily agree with that one right now.
Marino might hit
First,
more home runs than JT Realmuto, but JT will definitely have a more productive series than Gabriel Marino.
time will tell, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Moreno's also pretty inexperienced, which I think is
Yeah.
ignored in this.
Well,
Anyway,
this
first
whole
base.
diamond. Let's be honest here. Other than Evan Longoria, is there any real experience on this Diamondbacks roster?
Ketel Marte's been in the league for a while, but no postseason experience, I don't think.
I'm talking postseason experience. Evan Longoria made it to a World Series in 2008, and he lost to
Um,
the Phillies, and
Tommy
that's really.
Pham has been in the postseason, I believe, a couple times.
Well, who has gotten to the league championship series out of these guys? Longoria in
I
'08.
think
That was
Pham has.
okay. I know Longoria was the last time
I
he
don't know
made it
that
was
for a fact
2008.
though.
So not
Um,
many. This team is very. They're kind of like the Phillies last year. But it's just I felt like that Phillies team last year was a little more surging than the Diamondbacks this year, and also the Phillies.
I don't know, man.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if you can't. I don't know if you can say they're not surging. They beat.
The
No, I don't
Diamondbacks are
care.
yeah, the Diamondbacks are playing very good ball.
I mean, I don't
But
know. I know that you said that the Dodgers were terrible, but they still beat. They swept an 100-win team that's been easily either the best or second best or most consistently good
well
team
here
during
the
this decade.
the Phillies would have swept the Braves if Rob Thompson knew how to manage game two.
I can't even go there right now. I'm going to lose my mind.
Anyway, back to the list. We're moving on to first base, and
This one
our
we don't even need to talk about.
Our guy got it right. He gave Harper the advantage at first base, which is smart. Christian Walker, he's not a bad baseball
Christian
player.
Walker is
Christian Walker.
good.
Yeah.
Christian Walker knows how to play. It's closer. He even says it's closer than you might think, which I agree with. Christian Walker is one of those guys who never gets talked about, but consistently puts up some very, very solid offensive seasons. Um, I've always been a pretty big Christian Walker fan. Um, like I said, he's just consistently a solid player. You can't complain about him. He's
Yeah,
very,
Christian
very. He's incredible defensively.
and he also has 69 home runs in the past two seasons, which is the third most in baseball from a primary first baseman, as he's behind uh the two guys that hit the most home runs in baseball, Matt Olson and Pete Alonso. So
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting about Walker and more the Diamondbacks is just think about the Diamondbacks over the last, 10, 12 years. They went from having Gold Glover and MVP Paul Goldschmidt to perennial Gold Glover and All-Star Christian Walker is arguably one of the most lockdown successors and predecessors that we've seen in a very, very long time. I mean, I don't
yeah.
know if you want to consider the Harper Schwarber DH thing. I think that's a little bit too abbreviated, but that is a so underrated duo right there.
Yeah, Christian Walker's been
Incredibly
really good.
underrated duo.
And let's look it back. The Diamondbacks had the lead in the NL West for a while. We can't forget about that. They got
I
off to
know.
a surging start this season, and then the Dodgers really, they did the Dodgers thing in the regular season and really put it on a burner. But the Diamondbacks have been around all year, and if they didn't lose games at the end of the season,
Yeah, there's that
the
too.
Phillies probably would have played them in the wild card.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they really, really had a rough patch in the late to mid to late part of the season. I don't know if they ever went under, but there
No.
was definitely a point where they were at 500
Yeah,
in August.
they were always in that mix. I felt like they were always locked in at that two spot in the wild card until the Cubs started going on a little bit of a run, and then they were always that three spot. and then they just really fell off, and then the Cubs really fell off. So we got the Diamondbacks back in, and then the Marlins kind of snuck their way into the postseason. But the Diamondbacks, we would have played Diamondbacks to the wild card if they won that season series against the Marlins. But they've been around all year. They had one bad patch of the season, but other than that, the Diamondbacks have been a good ball club this year, which we did not expect from them in 2023. But they really came out and played. They've played good baseball all year, and I've said they've played bad. They've played underperforming teams in the postseason, which the Phillies certainly have not been underperforming this playoffs. But no matter who they've played well against them.
Yeah, Ben. So here's what I was talking about. August. Hold on. I gotta make sure my days mixed up. Here we go. August 14th. The Diamondbacks were 59-60. That was that drop off, that post All-Star game drop off I was talking about. I mean, a lot of people thought the Diamondbacks were out of it. They went from being in June being first place in the National League West to being under 500 in August. And then just toward the end of the season, they really stepped it up and started playing. I wouldn't even know if I'd call it consistent baseball, but they did a good job of stringing together some wins. There was a point where they won 6 straight. They won 4 straight. They won 5 straight.
They were winning
3
games.
or 4.
Yeah. They were winning games until about that last 2 series where they couldn't lock up that 2 spot. But maybe they got lucky. Maybe that 3 spot was good for them. But how about this? This is the second straight season. 2 seasons with the wild card format, and both seasons the wild card teams have made it to the National League Championship Series. And both years it's been the 6th seed, the Phillies and the Diamondbacks.
Well, I think that just proves that things that are valuable in a postseason series are not the same things that are valuable during the regular season when you play 162 games.
The regular season, really, it's just showing you more and more. All you got to do is get in. And that goes for any sport except maybe football, where you kind of, that week off helps a lot. But you really
100%.
It only matters if you get in. And I learned that last year with the Phillies. It only matters if you can get in. And whoever's the hottest team is that's who's gonna come out on top. And the Astros were the hottest team last year. They won the World Series against the Phillies. The Phillies were the hottest team in the National League. They won the National League Championship Series. So it really only matters how you get in, and it's proven again by the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2023.
You know, Ben, this is funny that we mention this, because whenever someone who knows football but doesn't know asks me, like, why is that guy sitting, or why can't he pitch today? And I'm like, this is how baseball works. I'm like, why can't Craig Kimbrell pitch today? Here's why. I think, and they're like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I know. This is the equivalent to, like, Jalen Hurts only playing every other game because he has to save his throwing arm. And, like, that is why baseball postseason is so crazy. Because you have all your guys available. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's ready. And you can pitch them when and there's nothing to save them for, right? Like, if they get dead arm when the Phillies win the World Series in 2 weeks from now, okay, they got the whole offseason to let their arm hang by their side and recover. But, like, could you imagine if Jalen Hurts couldn't play 3 games in a row in fear of an injury? I mean, it's so crazy how different football and baseball is.
Every sport's like that. Every sport is very different. Second base, I don't agree with this one.
I agree with this one.
Yeah, Ketel Marte's had a great season, but Bryson Stott has played really, 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 really good in the postseason. Bryson Stott might, if I had a vote, I would put him, and unbiased, I would have him as my comeback player of the year. He has really. Bryson Stott's the future of the Phillies. He has played incredible baseball, but Ketel Marte has also been very good, and he's been very consistent.
He has been. And I mean, I don't know. It's hard to disagree with this one. Ketel Marte, he put up, like, I'm just guesstimating here. I don't know Stott's stats for sure. I don't have them up right now, but he put up about 10 more home runs. They had almost identical batting averages, but his OPS was almost 100 points higher. It is hard to argue with this one. Marte is also I mean, he's was an All-Star at least once. Let's see. Yeah, he was an All-Star in 2019. He won the Player of the Week once. He's usually a pretty good defender. Um, Diamondbacks MVP award winner, 2 seasons. It's hard to, like I said, I have trouble disagreeing with this one. Ketel Marte has been a very, very good player the last, geez, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 seasons.
Yeah,
I
Marte
think he
in
debuted in 17 or 18.
his postseason so far, he has 2 home runs with a 984 OPS. So he's been playing really good.
Stott hasn't been, so
He had a grand slam.
he had a
He's a,
grand slam and that
he's
anything since.
he had the RBI in game 1. He had a sac fly there. He's been fine. I also think Bryson Stott's a really good baseball player. I'm a huge Bryson Stott fan. I'm not one of those fangirls that just like him because he's handsome. He's a really good baseball player. And he can work some at bats. But yeah, I mean, I'm split on this one. I can go either way. But just because I'm a Phillies fan, I'm gonna say Bryson Stott. But Ketel Marte's been very well. Ketel Marte's been very good.
All right, so I think shortstop is another interesting one to look at here because you look at Geraldo Perdomo, right? He made the All-Star team, 787 OPS in the first half, then he just collapsed, right? In the second half,
619 OPS. Follow
right?
that up.
And I mean, Turner was just incredible, starting on I think it was August 2nd or 3rd.
August 4th.
4th.
I was there.
The home run day.
The home run was August 5th.
Okay.
The first standing ovation was that Friday, August 4th. I was in left field for that game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Turner is that he's had the home runs, he's had the singles. I feel like he hasn't been big doubles, triples hitter this year, but he's 34 for 34 in stolen bases, including postseason.
That's
so
insane.
Pretty much every time he gets on base for a single, he can turn it into a double if he tries hard enough.
Yeah,
now,
and really,
of course, Gabby Moreno is a great defensive catcher. We've covered that. Defensively, we shouldn't even go there. But I think that I agree with this. They give the advantage to the Phillies. I think that Turner's second half bat it allows you to ignore the defense. I really do.
Yeah, he has a 1455 OPS at the postseason, and he had a 4-hit game on the Thursday in Game 4. So he's been playing very well in the postseason. He had home runs in games 3 and 4. Game 4 he hit one to take the lead. Yeah, he's had a few bad plays. He had the 2 errors in Game 2.
More than a few.
Yeah, he's had a lot. But
that
offense, he has really made up for his mistakes in the field. And
yeah,
the home runs he's been hitting constantly. Obviously, you said those stolen bases. He's been going on a lot of first pitches. Trey Turner, he's Trey Turner, and he is that second half into the postseason. It's been pretty much exactly what you want from the offensive side of the ball. And Perdomo, yeah, he's had a terrible second half, and I don't think he's done much in the postseason. So yeah, I very agree with Trey Turner getting the advantage here at shortstop. And I really don't think it's super close.
Agreed. I would actually think the same thing with third base. I don't think this is overly close either. Depending on how you look at it, you could argue it's the teens. The teen scene might say this is a battle of mid. Though I think that Alec Boehm's.
You're a teen. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I can still say that, can I?
I say mid all the time.
I'm not really much of a slang person. Usually, I've used mid once in a while. Mid. I said something. I can remember. I said something the other day, and as soon as I said it, like, oh, that sounded so terrible.
Yeah,
it was one of the new words. I don't remember which one it was.
All right, Evan Longoria. He's the third baseman for the Diamondbacks. The last time he played in a league championship series was 2008. 15 years ago.
Sounds like a loser to me.
15 years ago. He made the World Series. It was his rookie year. He's 22 years old with the Rays. They made the World Series. They played the Philadelphia Phillies.
And
And
they lost.
I'm gonna read you this Phillies lineup from Game 5 of the World Series. And it's just so beautiful to look at. Jimmy Rollins led off at shortstop. Jason Worth batted second in right field. Chase Utley batted third to second baseman. Ryan Howard was the 4-hole that night. First baseman. Pat the Bat Burrell in his final game of his MLB career batted fifth for left field. Eric Bruntlett came in later in the game to replace him in left field. Shane Victorino in center field, batting sixth. Pedro Feliz, number 7, third baseman, he also batted seventh. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Colin's favorite Philly of all time, Chris Coast.
Wait, why?
Wait, this is game 1. Never mind. This is game 1 of the This is game 1 of the
Wait,
World
why is
Series.
Chris Coast my favorite Philly of all time?
Why not?
Okay,
And then Carlos
perfect.
Ruiz was the catcher. He batted ninth. But if it was game 5 of the World Series, which they won on, get Chris Coast out of there because there was no designated hitter, and Carlos Ruiz would have batted 8th, and Cole Hamels batting 9th. That was the lineup from game 5 of the World Series. Game 1, Chris Coast got designated hitter spot. But wow, that was such the top 4 of that lineup. Jay Will, Jason Worth, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard. How do you pitch to that?
You don't. I mean, yeah, there's no other answer. You don't. You just hope, pray, just throw the fastball as hard as you can and hope it hits a corner and doesn't go down the middle.
Well, you couldn't do that to Ryan Howard from 2006 to 2011.
This is true.
He would just hit everything out of the ballpark.
It's very impressive. It was it's very. I wish I got to see more of him in his prime. Because we remember him as the strikeout or the home run player, but truthfully, he was just in his prime. It was how far is Howard going to hit it this time?
Um, of that trio, Howard, Rollins, Utley, are any of them Hall of Famers? And if so, which ones?
No,
Not a single Hall of Famer?
uh-uh.
I think there's 2 that should be in the Hall of Fame, but I only think one's gonna get in, and I think that's Jimmy Rollins.
I think he's the closest.
I think he's the only one that will get in. He passed in the second round of voting, so he can be voted in this season, and so can Chase Utley, who's on the ballot for the first time. Rollins is the most hits in Phillies history. He hit like I forget how many doubles in 2007, but it was an incredible amount. And he was always really good. His defense was incredible. Jimmy Rollins was the man, and he's certainly a legend here. Chase Utley, I think he's the next closest that can get in. But I don't think he will because the media hates Chase Utley for what he did in 2015 against the Mets.
Well, he works for MLB now, so
True, but I
like
still don't think they will vote him in. Also, the end of his career wasn't that those last couple of years weren't the best. Although he was good in 2016 in his first year with the Dodgers, but he really wasn't great after 2014, 2013. He wasn't the best. And then Ryan Howard, the end of his career was so bad that he won't get in. Which is a shame because Ryan Howard is right now is my favorite Philly that I ever saw. I was at his last game with the Phillies. I was at his
That
retirement.
was the coolest experience, one of the coolest experiences of my life. This is his last game.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't attend 4 postseason games and all of them being wins and incredible games, that would probably be one of my most cherished moments at Citizens Bank Park. But being at NLDS games 3 and 4 last year, NLCS game 5 last year, and DS Game 3 this year. It's kind of hard to put it up there on those marks. But anyway, Alec Boehm is definitely the better first baseman than Evan Longoria. Boehm had a terrible NLDS. Like, he was absolutely terrible at the plate, which only means it can't get much worse. And he's frustrated with himself at the plate. You saw him slam his helmet a few times in Game 4. But I think Boehm is a player that he can turn it around, and I think he will in this series. I think he's gonna have a good series.
Yeah. Left field's also an interesting one because Lourdes Gurriel Jr., solid veteran player, has come up with some big hits in the past, posted a decent season, OPS, I think in the high sevens. And then you have Brandon Marsh, who had a very, very good season that no one's talking about. I would go as far as saying he was the second most consistent hitter on the Phillies throughout the entire season.
I agree with that.
He had a rough month or two in there. He didn't hit against lefties, but when he was in the lineup, he was consistent. You know he was going to get some big hits. And then Christian Pache, who's his platoon mate there. Defense lockdown for both of them. Offense can be a bit of a question for Pache, but
I think he had a good series at the plate when he played his 2 games in the wild card.
He did absolutely.
He got an RBI or 2. He was really good. I really liked what I saw from Pache. The wild card. He hasn't played since. He only plays against the lefties. And
didn't he start Game 3?
No. Marsh was in left field. Marsh hit a home run in that game. But Marsh, something that I'm very fond of with him is he has moved in. He was the starting center fielder on that great team last year, and going into this year, he was not moving from center field. He was the starting center fielder. He was very good out there. He was good at the plate. And then all of a sudden, he was moved into this platoon role because Johan Rojas has been so unbelievable in center field. And we'll get to him after this. But Marsh has embraced his platoon rule. And he is still, as a 24, 25-year-old in that clubhouse, he is still a leader on this team. Even as a platoon bat. And he has embraced his role. He's been very good in his role. And that's something I'm very fond with Brandon Marsh. As a big Brandon Marsh fan, I'm a huge Brandon Marsh fan myself just because he's so fun to watch.
Yeah,
he's so fun to watch out there. And I mean, he's Brandon Marsh, like the beard, the hair, come on. He barks. It's awesome. But I
told you the emo crowd was going to love this episode. I told you.
They're barking Brandon Marsh. What do you think? Have you seen the videos of like people asking him to bark?
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Like, what goes through? Like, now Marsh has gotten to the thing where people are going up to him asking him to bark, and he's doing it. Brandon Marsh was built for Philadelphia. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He self-represents Philadelphia. He's like the shaggy-looking guy, but he barks. So. But yeah, the Phillies definitely have the advantage.
Talented in his own way, very Philadelphia.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr., I didn't realize was on the Diamondbacks until I read this right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Gurriel's had some big moments in the past. He's kind of jumped around from teams a little bit, but I will say this article makes it sound like it's not particularly close. I think it's closer between Lourdes Gurriel and Marsh and Pache than this sounds. I still think the Phillies have the advantage. Don't get me wrong, but this article makes it sound like it's a no-brainer. I'm not really sure that's the case. Center field, Alec Thomas is just not good. I mean, Johan Rojas is insane.
He's incredible.
In center field. He seems to get turned around a lot, but he still catches every ball that's hit to him. I really couldn't care less.
At the plate, he has not been great in the postseason, but he has not missed a play in center field since he's gone out there. He might have missed 1 or 2.
Well, there was the one that he just dropped. I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't consider that missing it.
He just flat out dropped that ball.
That was just an error.
But like, God, he has been the closest thing we've seen to Gary Matthews from the '80s the Secretary of Defense. 70% of the Earth is covered by water. The remaining 30% is covered by Johan Rojas.
Yeah, I don't even know. He's incredible.
The Phillies have
mean,
the to basically summarize, the Phillies have probably the most defining advantage they have by position is in center field, and it's Johan Rojas. So
I agree. Right field again. I'm probably not going to.
this is the closest one.
No,
Corbin,
it's not.
with what Nick Castellanos has done in the postseason so far, especially these last two games, he has hit 4 home runs in his last 2 games. He's the first player to ever have multi home run games in back-to-back games in the postseason in MLB history. All 150 plus years of the MLB, he's the only guy to ever do that. And Corbin Carroll, I agree with this. Corbin Carroll's the Rookie of the Year in the National League. That's the most overrated award of all time. Nobody should flex it unless you're like actually like something. Which most Rookie of the Years
Or
don't
not.
pan out to be anything. So this award sucks. But Corbin Carroll's been so good this year. He's really come out of nowhere. And Nick Castellanos has just been so unbelievable in the post. He had such a good National League divisional series against the Braves. He's doing the ring finger celebration. His son is in Philadelphia. Really, when Liam came to the ball, he had a slow start, but when Liam came back to the ballpark to see his dad, he got out of school in Florida. He's here now, and ever since then, Castellanos has hit 4 home runs in 2 games. Like, what goes on between those two is just the connection they have it's awesome. And to see Liam Castellanos was with the team at Xfinity Live partying on Thursday night. So, I mean,
The best part about this is Liam Castellanos is homeschooled, so he doesn't have to make up days at the end of the year.
there you go. That's a
Anyhow,
win.
the only issue that I have with this article right now is that they put the most irrelevant stat in here, which is helps wash away the fact that he generally hadn't done much with the bat in October as a Philly, this is referring to Castellanos, obviously, posting a 198, 244, 272 slash line across 21 postseason games with Philadelphia. Come on now. 2022 and 2023 Nick Castellanos, not even comparable. Don't combine those stats. Those stats are irrelevant.
I didn't even.
That's the most ridiculous thing to put in there.
All right.
Why put that in there? What purpose is that serving?
The reason the Phillies have had success in the postseason is because they have a completely different player in right field. It's like they made a new acquisition in the offseason.
Oh, really?
Nick Castellanos has been 2 completely different players at the plate in the last 2 seasons. And I think the Phillies win the World Series against the Astros if Nick Castellanos is as good as he is this season out in center field.
Wow.
Or in right field, excuse me. But the Phillies win that World Series. It's just it's like the contract they gave Castellanos, then it's like they gave him this year, and last year he was like some rental player they got from like, I don't know, Arizona. So I just he's been so good. He's been incredible in these last 2 games. And I mean, Corbin Carroll's really good. They have the advantage in midfield. The Diamondbacks do, but it's this is the closest one. If we're looking at matchups, so yeah.
So I don't want to go too much deeper into this. They have Schwarber over Tommy Pham, which I think is fair. The relief pitchers, starting pitchers, they have the Phillies. Gallen and Kelly are great. Everyone else past them,
Sucks.
not so great. It's actually pretty similar to the 2022 Phillies, where they had a great top 3, but past that was a bit of a concern.
Well,
Syndergaard ended up panning out to be all right.
Yeah,
But
when Syndergaard had those starts in the postseason, he did his job. I don't want to talk about last year's Phillies because I don't care about last year's Phillies right now. I'm focused on this year's Phillies. But Syndergaard did his job then, and I think that. Well, here's my question: will the Phillies need a fourth starter in this series?
yeah,
Who are you putting out there? I have my answer.
Christopher Sanchez.
That's the correct answer. The Diamondbacks have been very effective in the first inning. They're calling them the first inning snakes. And Taijuan Walker's 7+ ERA in the first inning just is not trustworthy. And Taijuan Walker's been terrible in the second half of the season. Christopher Sanchez has been the most consistent Phillies starter in 2023 in the regular season. That is, so I would much rather have Sanchez out there, and it's another lefty. So
I'm gonna make an un-Colin like comment as we wrap this up. You ready?
let me hear it.
So you know that I'm very logical, rational. I like the numbers. I'm not a feely type of person, but I can't stand Taijuan Walker starts. I love Taijuan Walker. He's a great guy, but I can't stand when he starts. I just feel like I'm sitting there and I'm like shaking and jittering and like, when is this going to be over? Why is no one warming up in the bullpen? His splitter is just hovering. It's not actually breaking. He doesn't have a curveball, and his slider just doesn't work, and his
Doesn't
sinker only
slide.
moves 25% of the time, and the splitter kills me because when it's not working, he's so ineffective beyond description. Like, I can't stand when he starts a game. I can't. Like, is he bad? No. Taijuan Walker is not bad. At the end of the day, he's not a bad pitcher. He is an average pitcher. But I cannot stand it when he pitch. It makes me so mad.
And the amount of money
I'm jittery.
that they gave him this offseason to pitch how he has, which has not been great. They gave him ace money. He's been nowhere close. He's been the Phillies he was probably their worst starter the second half of the season.
I agree with that. Outside of yeah, I'd go there.
Lorenzen threw a no-hitter, so I mean,
Yeah, I gotta give him that. The issue that I have with Walker and this signing, which I don't know, I think Walker's a great first half pitcher. He's made a couple of All-Star teams because of he's a great first half pitcher. But he's had the same problem every year that he cannot pitch in the second half. And the Phillies have to find a way to solve that problem next year.
just don't pitch him in the first half of the season. Put him on injured reserve. Just list his injury sucks in second half, and the second half of the season will be his first half of the season. Everything works out.
I
Then he
would
just
not
has
be against
he
a
has a
phantom
horrible
IL in the beginning of the season.
he has a horrible postseason though. So
Like, I don't know what I mean. I don't know if it is, maybe it's like maybe he needs more. Like, I don't know if it's an arm tired thing, losing. Like, maybe he needs more bullpens in the second half. Maybe he needs no bullpen in the second. Like Zach Greinke, who like for a long time in his big league career refused to throw bullpens. He just went out and played baseball on the days when he was scheduled to, and did not on the days when he was not scheduled to. I don't know. Maybe he should throw no more than 80 pitches or 5 innings in the first half of the season. Or if maybe for the first 3-4 months, if, he's sitting for more than 20 minutes, he shouldn't come back. I don't know, but something has to change. He paid him too much money to be unpitchable in October. That's the bottom line. The bullpen is interesting because I think this article focuses a lot on velocity, saying how velocity matters. The final 8 teams alive in the postseason. Phillies have the best four-seam sinker velocity at 97.2 on average, while the Diamondbacks have the least at 93.7. But if you look at just the numbers, the surface line numbers here, the Diamondbacks have a decent bullpen. They have some top guys who have limited runs. The Diamondbacks bullpen, I think, could be is a sneaky weapon they have. I think there are a couple guys back there who can be shut down. Paul Sewald has been good. A couple other guys they've had. I mean, if you're looking to shut down a lefty, there's Joe Mantiply, who hasn't been. He's been inconsistent this season. 4.562 ERA, but They have a couple low ERA guys in the back of the bullpen that I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm overly concerned about, but definitely know how to shut. Like they're not. There's not. They don't have a bullpen that's going to let things go out of control. They're going to keep things contained. Bryce Harper could easily, punch most of them in the mouth. A lot of the Phillies players could, but this isn't the bullpen where they're going to string 6, 7, 4, 5 runs together in an inning. So it's going to rely on, keeping numbers up on the board, extending your lead, getting insurance against this bullpen.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
We destroyed this, Ben. We broke it all down.
Yep. I know so much more about the Diamondbacks now. I didn't know much coming in. And now I've accepted that the Phillies are still winning in 5.
The Diamondbacks are an interesting team.
They're
I don't
like,
get them.
yeah, they're like weird. It's like this is like a weird
They are.
group.
Do you know who the Diamondbacks are?
The
They are the
Diamondbacks.
off. They are the off-brand Baltimore Orioles, but older.
They're just
I
an
still
older
don't. I
Baltimore.
still don't know how the Orioles won 100 games.
Young talent.
Yeah, but like the numbers that they like, you talk about the production level numbers. The production level numbers, your averages, your on base percentages. Nothing was. They had nothing was crazy. Their starting pitching lacked so much depth. Their bullpen had injuries. I mean, they had the Yamamoto guy from the A's. He was like one of their back end relievers, had an ERA of like 6 something. I don't. I mean, I can see them being an 80, 85 win team, but 100 wins I couldn't fathom. And these Diamondbacks, like their offense average, bullpen average, starting pitching lacks depth. I don't know how they have not lost a postseason game yet, but they beat, the best top 2 pitchers in baseball, even though one was hurt. I still say that. And the 100 win dot, I really don't get it. Because, like I said, they're a good team. They
Are
are a
they?
very, very
Hey,
solid team, but I,
are
I
they?
don't know how they string these wins together.
Are they winning games?
Yes, they're mashing the baseball,
That's
but
all
I
that
just
matters.
I don't see it. Strange.
It's you don't have to see it. You just have to accept it. The Diamondbacks are winning games. The Phillies are winning games. It's going to be a good series, but I think it's officially prediction time.
Not
This is
Phillies in 5. Phillies in
it's
7.
this series is not going 7. You cannot
Here's
tell me with a straight
listen.
face the series is going
There's
7.
no way that the Diamondbacks are going to go from having won 5 straight games to losing 4 out of 5. Just not going to happen.
Have they played in an environment like Philadelphia yet?
Well, I know they're going to play 3 games at home. 2 games, 3 games, 2 games, 3 games at home.
3. But
So,
but you know how many people from Philadelphia live in Arizona?
no, my. Yes, I do. I'm aware. But
It's
no, come on.
there will probably be more Phillies fans in Arizona than Diamondbacks fans. Let's be honest.
I wouldn't go that far.
It'll
There will
be
be a substantial number, but it's not going to be more
it
Phillies
might be
fans.
60-40, the 40% being Phillies fans. But they're gonna be louder than Diamondbacks fans
Have you? How do you know that? There's no
because
way of knowing that.
I do, because I have a friend that lives in Arizona that's a Phillies fan and that knows a lot of Phillies fans, that knows a lot of Phillies fans, and there's a lot
Is
going down
Jackson
there.
going to the game?
He has tickets to every single game.
He's not on fall break.
Um, he's going to all the games.
Good for
So
him.
he
Exciting.
has tickets to all the games. He has something games 4 and 5 that he's trying to work out of, but he will definitely be at game 3. But I think that the Phillies win this series in 5. Um, and I think it's not going to be an easy series. I think the 2 games if the Phillies can win both games at home against those 2 really really good pitchers, I think they're gonna be good. It all comes down to winning those first 2. If they go up 2-0, this series is going to be over. Just like that. I think the Diamondbacks can win game 3, or maybe game 4. Maybe game 4 because that's when their ace will be back out there. Um, but I think game 5, the Phillies aren't going to lose 2, possible clinching games in a row, and this Phillies team is going back to the World Series. Except they're going to have more depth this year than they did last year, and they're going to be a better team than they were last year. And we're going to be partying again.
That's right then. Again. This time better be for a World Series.
Yeah, this cannot be the last time they celebrate. Like we need at least two more.
We're gonna need another one of those.
We need at least two more parties after the National League, the World Series, and then a parade. That's what we need.
Love the sound of that, huh?
It's nice.
Who would be at the front of the bus? I think Castellanos and Harper.
Oh, definitely Bryce Harper. He's absolutely Trey Turner.
Yeah. I think Castellanos, Harper, and Turner could manage. I mean, those buses are pretty wide. They all stand on the top. Just put the
and then I think
front.
Kyle Schwarber's right up there with them. And you know who else I think is right up there with them in his final time in Philadelphia?
Rhys Hoskins.
Yep.
Not his final time. He'll be back next year.
Where is he gonna play? So here's my thing.
I can't get into that now. They'll find a spot for him. And you know who's gonna be in the very, very back? There's only one right answer here.
Who is
very, very back? Brandon Marsh is going to be hanging off the back of the bus, yelling as loud as he can as the bus passes. Left corner, I can see it right now.
It's going to be him, Stott, it's going to be Marsh, Stott, Bohm. It's going to be the whole daycare is going to be in the back.
The back. It's like the school, right? All the cool kids sit toward the back of it. Yeah, exactly.
So you have what? The Phillies in 7?
6. I'll go 6.
That's fair.
I can't get over the Diamondbacks starting pitching. It's just there's no way they win games 3, 4, or 7. There's just no way. There's no chance. As soon as the Phillies beat.
Wait, you don't think the Phillies are gonna beat what's this guy's name? You don't think we're gonna beat Brandon Pfaadt?
No, I'm saying 3, 4, 7. That's game 3, right?
He would pitch game 3, so you don't think the Phillies win game 3 against Brandon Pfaadt?
I'm sorry, did I say I'm sorry. What did I say? Did I say there's no way the Phillies win 3, 4, 7?
Yeah.
I meant Diamondbacks. I'm saying there's no way the Diamondbacks win games 3, 4, or 7. So as soon as the Phillies get a win over Gallen or Kelly, the series is over.
And well, they're gonna pitch both games in Philadelphia, and they've never pitched in an environment like Philadelphia before. So
if I'm Torey Lovello, I'm gonna have Gallen throw game 1, and then have Pfaadt throw game 2, and then have to save Kelly for game 3. Because in that case, I think that if you can get Pfaadt to steal a win game 2, I think that puts them in a lot better position, even if they go down and then going home, regardless of the situation. I guess unless they're up 2-0. But
well, I'm hoping both of their aces play in Philadelphia and they both get rattled and the Phillies win both games and then they win the National League.
I think the Phillies have hit Gallen pretty well too.
Yeah, they have.
Nothing crazy, but I mean, for a guy who's been a Cy Young candidate the last 2 years, they've hit him better than you'd expect or better than other teams have.
And JT Realmuto has a cycle against the Diamondbacks.
He does. Maybe he is the Serpiente killer.
Is JT Realmuto your NLCS MVP?
Oh, I forgot we have to predict that too.
Who's your MVP?
Oh, you need to go first. I haven't even thought about this.
With the tear he's been on, I can see Nick Castellanos. Bryce Harper is always a candidate, but he won last year. They might want to spread it out a little bit.
Rhys Hoskins. See an option?
He's not playing in the NLCS.
I heard it's a possibility.
I can confirm that's not happening.
You can?
I can confirm because Rob Thompson said World Series. So
no, updated about 4 or 5 days ago. He said NLCS is a possibility.
If it is, he's not going to play a lot. He's going to be.
No, you're right.
He's going to be a pinch hitter. He's probably going to strike out every at bat because I just don't think he should be playing. But this is a different conversation for a different day. We have to wrap this up.
I agree with you. He shouldn't. There's no reason right now.
And also, throwing him in the World Series in his first at bat this season is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Give me Kyle Schwarber for the MVP.
He's so dope. He hasn't had a Schwar bomb yet.
I know.
It's like, what is
Like, if
happening?
I need my Wawa drinks and discounts, so he needs to get going. Because if that doesn't happen next year, it's gonna take a major hit on my bank account. Because I go to there, I go there too often.
I have the Schwarberfest shirt. I might wear it for a couple games and maybe it'll bring some luck. I haven't worn it yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to get. Where do you get one of those?
So I stood outside of the Philly Stadium for Game 2 of the World Series, and the guy who was inside the Wawa Goose was there, and he gave everybody a Schwarberfest shirt. So
I'm gonna have to get one of those.
you
I
can
don't know
probably
how, but
find
I'm gonna get one.
you can probably find it on eBay. It's probably up there.
Wawa
But
and Phillies, man.
all right. Anyway, this is gonna do it from us in episode 41, the NLCS preview. Colin and I are gonna try and plan out what podcast we can do during the series. Colin seems to have the craziest schedule I've ever seen this month, which is crazy. But that's gonna do it from us. You'll see us when you'll see us. Go Phils.
Go Phils. Thank you
We're
all for tuning in.
sponsored by SeatGeek, by the way. Use code Philly Sports Report, save $20 off at SeatGeek. Thank you for SeatGeek for sponsoring this podcast. Follow us on all social medias.
Everything
We'll be
down in
live.
the description.
We will be live before every game on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For 30 minutes before each game, except game 1. So tune in then. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you.
Go Phils.